Kessben television so ni ahwefo na etefo ma munyina adwo eba ye kasa fidie so na so hwetie afidie so enne eye fiada bogya ye kase anu atena se ade bramu yi na ye free Kessben television so a ye kase ye betwa ne ho afa emiamia hodo pi
DSTV ya channel 364 Go TV channel 121 so na Facebook na YouTube nya biare na watie bi ho
enne na madaroma ye kase no munsam enie Yesi abeto dwase nipa bi pushi se National House of Chiefs yemfa na nanom ahemafo enka wo no tumfo se da bi we de me mama nka bi mo kwaya dai mo metena se obi atu sa na mo no a wonka ho
na sai mo na Ghana Water Company wa Asante Mante ba amane se owabe site no krofo bi ye prendo kopem so akasa de afa ho
na enu achi ye mampani so akasa de nsem bi atodwa fa bibiman ye nkambo mu enafe ya de shiete nkrofo ama aso no kwane ebetimi afa so ne o matena
na wasansam kro no wa mu ana so ofo hwa ama no ne ho nsem so kire se aso ye na ye krado sa tente ne de Ghana de se nkrofo man so won sabe kapa
ye so afo hwe o my Ghana ye nsase ni mo japade nsem so de krata bi akoto mra se bedwam a se ye tu fam agudi a ewiase de nyina abo akosoro ye nso ye de automatically ebetimi akosoro
na woliti your ho sensem dom kuma wo man Ghana so be fie kire se aban mu panimfo omu kotoku emfa kransem de ye na asie
emfinfini mantam so afo abebo amane ye se de campaign season na atwam enti abadwuma ni bia hwe so anya adwuma no be misbehave no emra ne ni bedi
o man Ghana mra so be fie na beto dwasem mra se bedwafo no trotro any taxi eno mo de kwa adwuma de ye na asie
etiefo nsem we bi ka ho ene de bra mo don hwere ba kontem bidin ni akua ye bo asiama the prophetess meni menu abema
o sempa kani Samson
ye kwa basisia Madaroma ye kase no eni nananom atena nkonwa eye national level ya omugina nananom nhemfu anamu o my Ghana nyina ene yesi nipa bi kike kasa de no kra be ya yemfa hemafo ne nwuram enti sansam yi beto odwan no otumfo se da manka bi ahadi o makwan mo ba bi angoka bi wo ho ene o se nananom ahemafo no go my Ghana ankasa no ye culture na se ye mamre mu no mahemafo no tumi pa mo mutimi ye ndema ahodo pi na so san National House of Chiefs we no se de tworo no ka asem bi se ye woni nyina ho kwan so nyina na efata ye no e ho pa de mai wo munuru oda eti obia obetu anamon so ode mba de bewura mu no no wotumfo wonka ho na obere asa de hemfo no so betwa mo ho afiri mu na asa bi obi nim di ahema no ahemafo di aye wo yewura asami wo ka ne dendenden sa na eno no mpanimfo sesa wo posa nunum a ena wote ne kankan na asa wunu sa de etie eti yenkopentie ne yentie firi yewura ho de entia wose National House of Chiefs ema monka ho
the statutory mo mu hwe ye no bia nkofa ban mu ne nkrata bia medwae ho a santimam ye ma menom ye wo tumi ma ye ne ye nanan mo tetetimfia ha na ni tumi de ma wo mu so mo fam emu ma na wo ho ye de buo ne ani die ma wo mu on ne wo tumi so yi hine kura ye ne ete nyina oba na yi yen asa ne ye ba na so ye de ne say ye ma me wo yu wie no otonche a efu otonche opim abatu na okofie no akoka asam sa na ye nhihye atie ye hia asantema ya ni om na ti oka we ya ha ya tie nyina ye na professor ne krata asam enye amane no creation of regional house of Kenya enye ye ne amane a it will be an fakata be and free baby and emekeka bibia and pata biancha obi o baby was one do dear jade only na de yes so yes e din na de yes ye de nko mo famfra na national so do be free baby go be free not to be free ha ni mo antie ni amane ase na sa mo kasa mo ye wholesale de a me ma wo bia kwan wo Ghana ha mo so amane da me ma kwan sa and I mean, young Constitution no boy and the institution of chieftaincy, together with the traditional councils as established by customary law and usage, is hereby guaranteed in the Constitution. Your customary usage, say any Asante, Mema Tas, any father, any mamma, mutual near can. That's what we were taught to crack Mobi may wait there, and your money, and yeah, no Constitution, free in National. It's clearly specified there. The quite no corner mammy to fear or the cabby of a cabia. Come on, and mammy talk about Babia, Masquata and mammy cabby, Gabby and mammy cabia. No baby drew our two free no the abaton and a man for Bumano. Sarah, ya kwa santima womu tu bi womunum na eba mutie bi mukofia wotu fusa nana ya kwa asmani ya kan say next time mukwa say na tie ya hihye no ne de ne so yi nipa no amane no no obi kro montesa na no nkyere say wotawa ne atwa krata bi ade brese yese eno so free hemfa untime nsesama mane me ne sante hine bitumi am de chiche masantima me mo bia nsesa ne nsesa ne and you was a moment, yes. We are money and
Entienne na zio. Nana piao. Entiera kasa. Mampeni dada rolling sa onya ne baby kro na so twi no kan ye we nkyerechire mu bie nim. Papa na kan asam no pani kasa wi a na asam asan ma aha de mu nka bi mu nkotena se. Yenko.
Na omade hye sansan we nyina abede de wa bre ne opem so bodwa na ama tam anase aman na hodre wa santemante mu hia wo mo na afena kwa we yo mu hia mu de atwa to mo de hyehyɛ so no ɛhɔ dwumade na ase no opem so de sansem ne nyina atu dwa na asam ba ko so beto dwa opem so kasafa ho aye na nsan nsɛm a Ghana Water Company dwumako hwe nsuo ho nsɛm so santemante mu ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔwabedam be ba Kessben ho asɛm ameka de ma ɔman Ghana ntitu na santemante mu nsuo no ɔmo kyerɛ saa asase ne so no krofo bi ye produdu ahwe yi a adan ahodo mu siasi ho nti ne nso ho bekɔ atwe pa ɛwɔ asantemante mu na saa asɛm na kɔto opem so ani mu ne opem so kasa no ɛna wɔ kyerɛ sɛ kɔbas na mpadimfo ne kasa asɛm no a na wodu ho yaw pi firi sɛ ɔmo nyina nim sɛ asase no ɛyɛ ɔman no asase a ayɛntɔn a yɛtwa hye ɛde afa ho yɛbɔ ho ban enti hwan ɛna ma ɛkwan mo bi kosi asase no anaso kosi dan ɛwɔ asase no so ɛyɛ ahemfo ɛyɛ lands commission aya Ghana Water fo yi anas aya hemfafo entimpanefo ahodo mo ka biewo mu no saa sobo ne nyina wode ba wo mo hu ne yie pa se wo mo na ado mo dwumadi so nei saa wabe site ho no krofo yi ne prendo ensem sei na sante hene ade tuodwa
because ensue wo wabisia broni ye ma ye ne aye yi nyina free hakosi aye se mo bia nko ye di nu asisi ya cheze ye preserve ma ensue no be gina ho amaye ena nei aye se ye ne bie ya kosi dan wo ho woni akrosori ya no kosi na wo ni bi na ton ye wo ni ben e di enti no ton sa wo ra ye se ye ni na ye dan so na ho so na ma ne permit town planning board so be na ma permit ma ekosisi na ya kohwani ehunu na be ya ka cho se we ni sesia ya mu na nan mo so o ma na ma kwa ma ni water sewage what Ghana Water for ka town planning for ka lands commission ka ya na nan ene na nan ma koton ye ka some rebi o so ti na ti a wo bia no eso ya ba twentwe aso ya be hu udu for ne ade aso no kure no sei na ti and as a dream and case way upon in a way and no credit. And the ever katakata so sa and ye sit down or wabro, yet to have a bedroom fee no never in yes, you know. And what they bring a problem the son of Mecca. Nappy, 1 minute by Lands Commission at the bar. And then to memoir from Macatos and Moncroft for a map and Mauko on Monca. Water company for Monfro Nimuza, and most more, a year then I'm much more before. Town planning for the year then I'm many paco. A influencer or also year then I'm much more. Sana was here. Not your common nature. You per resolve, you per se mad each other, the Ania kind of creditors. But the way Branyas highlighted. 2 nights. Nanan ma ti dem obi an koto asase wo wabe ho. I want the Brave Regional House of Chiefs obi eni wa akọ wabe ho. Offenso he kra na ben ho kakra mba. So kra na ben ho kra so kra wunru ba bi wo no. Edi aha de o mu de bawru ku yeso a wana muza be ma su ya he na ngasa mba ya to ansa won ko. Edi akrachifoɔ no ane lands commission foɔ ne ayifo no wɔn nyinaa mbra ne yɛba ha nom si yɛnka wɔ ya wɔn bɛgyina bia ne yɛkusa wɔ na afei yɛaka kyerɛ sɛ ne mo nsa nkɔyɛ mo a mo nsa nkɔ bubu dan no ne mfiri hɔ nti wɔn nkurɔfoɔ yɛbɛma ado hɔ aba town planning foɔ aba.
Enti yamampani ni nananom mpanimfo na afei politicians o mayin mpanimfo bi ne adehia ya omote nkrofo ama so nso asia yensiamu kase won kran nhyiamu no sere na mampani de to omasum se wan say nkrofo wa history abakosem bi ye no na ye mpapa mu abakosem a omutimi ditro efa bibiman ho saa na nkrofo omo ye no ye omutimi aso omutimi keke kasa nti say ye yase ni bi ya omo fo omo konkwaso mu no bi ti America da so bi ti UK wo se o Africa cry ho bon obi wo ne ba wo se memfa ne nkofie eno da nche ne na fam akokeka nsema ensem fatafa bibiban ho na kire se eno no enya koto omasumpe na omotwa yeja na no na mampani so besre pa se mote san koto krane no enne san nansesem ne ade na montwa ne nyina ntungu na monhwa ahuru se yen no enka momu na hia yen efe yanyom yabakosem eniema eda yedi ankasa ne yekasa no yehwe huru se biribia betimi dia ye adwuma mampani to aso se hey ya de sha omote nkrofo ama aso yi anansesemi ya to afa ya ho akere wo mo san so da bia so kra wo mo nige so mbesa ba fie eno na mampani so osre pa se wo mo hwa a masanka momu no enkoso anto aso.
But anything in this life once stripped of its power will no longer work, and that is true of slurs, it is true of stories, especially ones that are complete fabrications. Let's take the narrative of those who oppressed us and work it. In fact, let's take their entire modus operandi and flip it and reverse it. And so I urge you, my brothers and sisters, let's be more intentional about our unity than they were about our division. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, our brothers and sisters from the 17th region of Ghana, it will not be a difficult goal to achieve. No matter how we've been divided, we've always tried to find our way back to one another. Africans in the diaspora whose forebears were enslaved have kept us in their rhythms. The music they play, the dances, the cadence of their speech, and even the language. The Gula Geechee people of the United States still count using Fulani words instead of numerals. Yoruba language is spoken in Venezuela, in Cuba, in Brazil, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago. Likewise, a Creole offspring of Akan is spoken by the Africans, the Maroons in Jamaica and in Suriname.
Enti mampani wie yi eno to asese san kotokra ne hu asema ya American ne anansesemi o moto a kire nchiri mano anso ye yempa abo ene na kofi bra me ni agoro na agro ye de cheche kule a cheche kofisa yes ane mano ye da so ato a de kire ye mano enti pani bi firi honom kra asema ya o ka kire ne ba ne sa anyom ne anansesem na ye to kire nkwada no e da so a wo ho eno anansese bibiman e da so ekra ye mu
Native. And Africa remains in our food. American gumbo and Brazilian karuru bear a strong resemblance to Ghanaian okro stew. All three use okro, also known as okra, which is native to the African continent and was transported to the New World on slave ships, as were cowpeas. We call it gobe here in Ghana for those of you. Try and eat gobe before you go back. Another food item that is native to Africa, which would explain why some variations of Hopping John, a dish from the Gula Geechee people, are so reminiscent of the Ghanaian wache. Try to eat wache too before you go. The ways in which Africa has remained at the heart of its diaspora are far-reaching, well beyond food and music. Perhaps the most important way is in the cultural elements that are taught to our children. Ensuring the cord that has tethered these diasporan communities to the African continent all these centuries remains unbroken. There are the Kwekua Nancy folk tales that so many of us in this room grew up hearing and reading, and that have spread all over the world to places too numerous to mention. Just like the popular children's call and response folk song that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Cheche Kule, Cheche Kofisa.
Ena mampeni, she mampeni. Onu wachini wiase nyina still oda so kai Cheche Kule nyo. Wan kidi bu ben 3 kidi babs.
Ori di agro.
Jano.
Who is the president ye kasa no? O ka asem ba ko ma adwene ye afiri so. Who so ka agoba asem. Na ba ye dey say aduane ho na eso de ne panni ko ma ni yakuma na Jacob.
Atidua.
Hwe. Go be da bi ka say muni bi obeboa mo.
Na mo mudi dodo mo de da bia mo de aye da bia ne aya mudi.
Obeboa wo mo ko de hu say ye no aye mpenam no. Beans no na ma protein no. Wo hu. Ye no ye hu say ye nwenam.
Na say ton so wo ho.
Body eto ne ba yi mankanito.
Ai. Hwe, mankanito no. Mankanito ne brasa me. De ya ma kire abena no. Abena no. Abena na ya ma na firi na greg.
I want some fufuru mu emfa.
Ya da so agina titimbre mu.
Aye ko no. Ene sa adwabo na se no. Osofo a wo hwe amono ne ho nsem so kasa ye pa. Na wo kire so man Ghana de agina bra na firi se akosi broni ba o man Ghana bi man mu be fa ye ko ye nkonkrofo man so. Afi ese nyine hokwa ye bo mo economy yetimi atompo nei no be kone ye de yense tentere yenso asese bi ye kaka moto bi ye adwi bi ma no de sumina so won sa ni mani nyina no ense ne mfanta ntemra du so man Ghana ye gire nu ye no bi man ahodo na echi wonkrofo man so na ye ye ho nse bitimi etu ho anamo sa na montu ye man Ghana gire mu ye pa wo hwese pepepe yo ne fa yo be koso de ba mi man nyina ene o man Ghana yinti ensem no so afo yi ade tu dwa no
80 years on, we should allow that example and the ensuing success that was experienced to inspire us on our noble journey of reparatory justice. Our time is now. Let history record that this summit marked the moment when we moved beyond rhetoric to coordinated action, and when we unreservedly demanded justice for the greatest sin against humanity. In so doing, we honor our ancestors by insisting that their plight be recognized, that their pain and suffering be remembered, and that their dignity be restored. We may be the answers to the prayers of our ancestors, but our children will be the beneficiaries of our refusal to be defined by the wounds of the past, and our strength to join forces as one global African family with a collective purpose. Together, let us reaffirm that Africa's rise is not only inevitable, it has already begun here in Accra.
Na nenkase ya no achi no na mrase bedwade ma de sia one of to baton pesia so nyamfo Samuel Kojo abra kwasa to aso kire mu se ebredru pa esa atentre ne ho nsem no mopɛ ade ma bibi man titru ne Ghana de sia wo enkrofo eman so ntinei se enkrofo man so na ye wa yakeka de ya wo de kokoma to yam aban ni to anamo wo mepa tentre ne ade ama wo.
One of us. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today's event is more than a gathering. It is more than a homecoming. It is a reunion, a reconnection of destinies. Our presence here today, each and every one of us, is the answer to a desperate prayer of an ancestor. A prayer spoken in the compounds and villages where those who had been stolen once lived and were loved, or in the dungeons of one of the several fortresses where enslaved people were held. A prayer spoken on the ships that were set sail across the Middle Passage with human beings as cargo. Human beings who were once mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers. Human beings who were once free. A prayer spoken on the sugar estates and ingenious in the Caribbean, in the mines and fazendas of South America, or on the cotton and tobacco fields and plantations of North America. We here today are the answers to those prayers. We are bound by a shared history and the spirit of resilience. We are committed to reshaping a better future for Africa and for all people of African descent. We have come together to deepen the global conversation that is currently being held on confronting.
Omai mumpeni for the krata bia kwa kwato Ghana mrasebedwem. Saa krata ne fa Ghana ye fama gudie ya yetu no mutu ayen no percentage ya yebenya ewo ho ye chefa ya yewo mu. Na eno na mpenimfo no kire mu sese kra na no lithium bi wansema ye omokofa ba ye. Na akofa saa de we nyina ba won se so kwaje bosia wo bank ya. Bosome no so na osika da eye wo account ma automatically etmiti. Se bi pepepe eno ompeso mo ye saa nkratasemi se de be na wiase nyina no. Se ye se eye foma gudi abo akosoro a automatically yenso ye de no percentage ne be kosoro. Ne bo no be pagya ama Ghana yenso yetimi enyamwa papa bi afrim. So afọ ya wo so man Ghana ya sanse ni moja pade ensem so wura Emmanuel Amakofi bua ena die no mu ya sakrata mo de kwato mrase bedwam ena owie ye one nsentrofo hia na no okyerechim wose sese sa lithium no aya ye de ye battery na ye ba betu o man Ghana mo no sese nyame adom ye percentage no ejina wo ha mabu pension 7%. Na no kra no ensese ye da ho se bi kra na ebetimi akwa akodru 12%. Enti o no mo a yesi wiase bunia manyina abo kwosoro sei ena fa wo bo kwose na fama gudi abo kwose no ai baby ye bekwa akogina bi automatically yenso ye de no na chese beka no ama yeso yetimi anya so mfaso.
Today I'm proud to say that I have brought an elaborate regulation that gives us a sliding scale agreement. What is the advantage in that? The advantage is that it allows the state to capture the benefit in good times, like in the gold sector. And I have to tell you, we've done it across the mineral sector. In the gold sector, for example, when the price, for example, in the lithium agreement was negotiated, at that time, lithium was $3,000. They achieved 3,000. They achieved 10%. But today, with the sliding scale I've brought, even when we get to 2,500, we achieve 10%. When we get to 3,000 because of the sliding scale, 3,000 plus, we'll go to 12%. In fact, if you do the calculation, at that point, it means that 3,000 government is saving almost over $500 million. And so this sliding scale, but let me also say that this sliding scale also gives the companies consideration when prices tumble in difficult times. Then the adjustment will automatically also favor a lower royalties. What is important for investors? It gives them certainty. Certainty. They are very sure that in Ghana, when the price tumble, we will not be in trouble because the government automatically will reduce royalties. When the prices go up, the government will also take advantage and capture the benefit. And I'm very happy today that we've strengthened it. We've even had provision in the lithium agreement.
Na sansem ya na waswafo ika ho asem ne nedo nkuma no so abambo nten so ne central for bonkomo na omasem ayetia wasa ka atia komo cheche mu se eni aban mu mpanimfo no asapete bribri e na aba wo mu hukutoku okura emfa akura ensemu no nkuma no nkuma no asem mo kanya da ne se si ai a mpanimfo iso mutu anamo amoman ga na enya mfaso no sa lithium bo okura no aba fempa abanda dana breso no hyehyɛ so man gen benye sika no omo tena akire kaseti aya ne nei adane abu wo mo no mo dom hu ne ye paase ase omo nsema wo ka na sisisi so enti ha adwene yom ka kyerɛ mpanimfo nso mo nkɔ na omo nsa emra bim mrase bedwani ede ma de hye wo mansia no fa boto mpesia so papa wasa ranking member de ma bageku ahwe yensa ase ho nsem so e o man gen mrase bedwa fie no gina edom kuma ne nyina na mu a ofre central for the nsem sei eto asomaye
kache lithium agreement bae yenya yeni se start ye no ekomfie mienu ni ye di kan de buy na ye hwehwe so oman ni benya royalty say 10% afim ye nuanom ka che say enim bremu eti om de ba be hye bremu e de amaye esesha na de ntina o say egudi aba fofo si ehun hia say no ye kwaji sika kuma bi sa na ye de ba eti on de obeye ne kese no de amaye o de beto ye nim ekohwe mu no na ye 5% ye bo no ye say de nkunti ai say akwada ketwa ya so brache no de mum na fo hu say oman no osisi ye e wo sika botine betimanyam no or you so feel about the radio agreement. They will say only consistent with it. Would you add chichi? And who ain't yourself opinion idea master assurance and nobody add chichi one. Or we are catch say or the legislative instrument a bar or the barber was a best royalty smoking. And I didn't you but the legislative instrument number. The woman say what peggy and I say or the case a woman bet me started the affair benyano 5%. Not just say 10% to catch say is sano, or no do about to 5%. Now the hard drink is you more on one kind of French and said, Eddie kind agreement was signed in October 2023. And yes, Sab Brennan ya deba demo. Sab Brennan signed agreement in October 2023. Now lithium bore 2,250 per ton. We are Siamanso. But the mere about them and September 2024. Now I think I had about net one swat about 880. Nenso Barari DV any Atlantic lithium no more your well and say or mining on bay and crata or 10% home. It is another catches and 3,000 2,005 18 and 10% and no credit. A badema September Obian Concohe Oko internet was so the Bibiako fax market or metals.com or Oko Kitisco and Mina or
na mrase badwane no kase no ahye no kire se omampani twantwomani mahamo wabra no wote achi no mukasa e fa galamse kon ne ho na galamse ni se ha o man Ghana pa to be se won so muntu ana mo na omnyilo mo sapom na so monhye munsuo na mo am woko ne ntimi ntusu sa e wo man Ghana mu
omani sa se ene fo magudi awrade di ache eni ma mienu na ni ebi ahim wo man Ghana mu edi kan a small scale mining activities are air cost woman and a lithium agreement abetu e medical in na ye ni dey no position o kafa galamsey ho o mo ka che say ehia kwasa wo se brass small scale mining activities woman o mo ba ba mi o mo ntimi anyeye minister na mu anya akwanya wo September mu no 2024 no o ka che say we must ban it and wa ba ba mu hihye di a wo dey banyina che say e koso edika ono ani kuma ye elembele and no cobolia, a one yan galamsey at Yatisi. Uberham so man penny say, Yenianum Kumam Copa Bibia and Quan Yeti Womo. Now one more yet title woman dear, or Soyan were Johnny, and Oba Bemi, with it ben watching. In Kuman or Castle Beja wom because I bind that any team or didn't watch him. On one and a watch your ma or de emray de emium. The back catch up by say, if you share any more emrayon semwa or yeno emwa. The best send a palm. 9 Musaba, 9 was by Munamudia dance say. And now, Quack say on and Quackra dance you, who be sa commander no can. Or so no year, Juma, a briar, boo woman in the America sorry. And what? Judicial and my regular, so mo dear, or may ya judge for Ejina my says or more bar. Them ran with ya woman, or money running on bed the EBD. That's one for man judicial and on bed. Yes, I buy someone homeless. Now, on one to small scale mine activity illegal.
Ye kwa eye emfimfini mantamo honorable echo eduamwa okyerepani ya emfimfini mantam so afọ akobo ni DC ya mane sei tama omde ye campaign na twamo enti abam dwuma ye ne bia obesabotage obe na adwene so twetwa nkrofo na enti no mo amaga na ban adwuma ntimi nkoso zinadi eno se nkrofo bi on ma mo feel some untouchable chese watena assembly wa cha ye adwuma nti eya wo sa wo no obi amma wo kyem so wase obi baba kyem so ye bebo kyem so gisi ye hu sa wo sabotage na sa wo ya ne edo ho asembra mpanimfo paade a ye beyi wadi eti oso osre nananom ani DC se Ghana man ye paniye eti nipa wo so onde wo be ye adwuma de am opposition fo no ebre no so na ate wo na ye politics a wo mo maban aguo no wo kwa wo no mu nyina na ebeko ye pe Ghana yie.
Yeah, honor the or how can cover budget, but we're to work on one manage in a way young politicians, young space, woman, you have a and then on some factor. I'm a foreign share, all your DC, Umbre, Ubiala, Juma, Umpana Condori, more young Juma there, they are honored in the party in Wincy, Wagono, another Mapata have been seen in the This all part to a while, Ebedma, Nondu, Nelco. This Kakachawa essay, in an air campaign. Let's say in an air campaign, more than 8 many papa. On him saying, you are cadet, this will be a one shot one now. One wait, no one now. On them, there was some sort in that picture. Now, a journey on young shop here is more buffer. Now, I met the Biamacade. It may be a being a daddy, be a program that you send no one picture. It's a boom one now, why the margin, they are coming house and no, you're done fair. No, you're the punish you. You're back to my Cassana, and 2 men say Cassana, no, you don't come and pay for that. You pay where they might have been known to me. Now I'm branded, so no, why not? Sunday, once I say, local government, I say, it's on to me, you are quite a while, what for the number.
Honorable Ishmael Nana Asamoah DC Yima Ekumfi. Esu o minister waka amate. Mekra ma ye ready dada. Na niema ye nkrofo yo no mahunu ni nyina nti so ma me say 2 minutes a de be ye adwuma pa.
Honorable Minister, the Assembly is embarking on some major developmental projects such as paving of the Assembly office complex at Isachel, construction of education office at Isachel, construction of 3-unit classroom block at Nakwa, renovation of Methodist JHS block at Strafa in Kwano, renovation of Otium Methodist Primary School, renovation of Otium Methodist JHS, renovation of Etibedu DA School, construction of 6-unit classroom block at Adanse, and construction of 3-unit classroom block at Asaman. I wish to humbly request that you find time within your limited schedules to visit some of these projects if time permits. Honorable Minister Lightly, the Assembly has so far received 2 tranches of the District Assembly Common Fund, totaling 5,686,064 cedis of 510,898 cedis 17 pesos to finance the unlisted project. 1. Construction of 1 number 6 classroom unit block with auxiliary facilities at Abo. Construction of 1 normal KG block for Mobroto Accra Basic School. Construction of 2 chip compounds at Ekoti and Askwap. Drilling of mechanized 8 normal boreholes at different locations in the district. Procurement of 300 dual decks and 246 hexagonal decks.
She be just answer no senior twa kwaje adwade nkra to aba ansem ni pi na ka akira ye de ebeto amoso. Omari share ma sama twa me akwaje adwade nkra to aba fe yanto hensem ne so emfa emamo yesa boy ro man Ghana mra se bedwa fie ebiem na dom kuma no kan di ful nyamfo afenyomo akemra se bedwane ademade se we futu abato be sia so payi kasa na ni abrese krorom ne nsem nyina da na yetia no kire mu se ukọ oman Ghana mra se bedwa fie dom dodo no omutu anamo bi a eha adwune ye pa ntiti no mo kan di fo no eno mu nuamu nkomo di gya wo mo a amenei Asian hodo okrom de bam na se bedwa fie okra na awreho ebi di boat Uber any taxi ni trotro na eba be hu MP na what trotro mu ene kanage say ki bi na tai osu be hu no na akoya ahomete sempa ni nyina da no eye sebi amamu no ayenko yie ewo NDC abreso sem sei ene owura fenyomo aken de atudwa.
They were going to create one job with 3 shifts. Mr. Speaker, a government that cannot take care of its 189 cannot take care of the many jobless youth that are seeking for jobs. A government that cannot take care of its 189 in this chamber, Mr. Speaker, cannot take care of the many youths. The backbench in this house are suffering, yet you say you are going to create jobs. When your own backbench have been rendered redundant and cannot go to their constituencies, you say you are going to create jobs. Mr. Speaker, this government is a promise and fail government. Concerned about their own backbench.
Give 5 minutes to the Minister for Finance.
Some are coming to Parliament in Uber and taxi. Go and take care of your own backbench. Mr. Speaker, the majority should take care of its own backbench.
Honorable Minority Leader, you said you have concluded.
They have failed their own backbench. Create job for your own MPs. It's not enough to come here with 189.
Honorable Minority Leader.
And Mr. Speaker, when earlier your colleague Adongo was speaking, you were all here hearing him. What Adongo needs is a job. Adongo needs a job, not to do the talk. Mr. Speaker, we in the minority are united in supporting Adongo, who is jobless. Mr. Speaker, yet he is always on the floor attacking the minority. Yet he is jobless by the BOG and
Nti come de adom kuma na don dodo no pa momra se bujafo come de wo mu nti akua fenyomo akene kasa come de adongo nti David an kasa tenten
must you cry more than the bereaved?
Say by politics this tie no ensem de omo na hye date ase o mu so mu ntimi nka nti always no akotaba akon achi wo no akama no
ena me say
ye tie kira so omo nka ho
na mo kra don kuma hwe se de nkrofo esi twem ase na se dom kese na omo age aban na fa omo adwuma na kom de omo unim ne yam
me say
wo na akoka
Jonathan eni David ayonkofa na esene enua obekom na afenyomo ake yonkopa ne adongu o didi money bi di
yo yati aya from adaro my beto akase no so Dr. Kessben lato force ne Ghana ban so afọ ya wo so ma yisi kasem so e no say afentamuni so wo hwense ya hodo aban yi ba o de agu foma bibi e de adanse se o man ni sikasem se de be ya o betumi atoto ni yie no e ho asem ehia wo mo pa na wi asem na nanso na kan na asem wo se wa hunu aduane ho nkonta wo hunu sika so e ho nkonta enti se de o mu si ye o man no nkonta sem sikasem yie no e kire pa so mo de o man no ebesi baabi Dr. Kessben lato force.
Mr. Speaker, everyone in this chamber believes that President Mahama has made progress on the economy. Mr. Speaker, even our colleagues opposite us, deep in their heart, knows that Ghana is making progress. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have been prudent and will continue to be prudent. Mr. Speaker, I heard my colleague say that a prudent government is planning to buy a presidential jet. But Mr. Speaker, the fact remains that it is better to buy than to rent. And that the cost of buying is equivalent of 2 years of renting aircraft by the previous administration. Mr. Speaker, the fact is there for all of us to see. The amount of money they spent on renting aircraft for 2 years is equivalent to the price of a new aircraft. And so who is prudent?
Remu wa manyosemu kakra edi amamni abawra NPP amanyoko ni nyame yadom a afie besim January bo so me de toso aduasa ba ko no bekwa abato so nipa opese okura frank emu edi ma NPP amanyoko ni mu no omakwa akoto aba masa nipa nimu no emu eba ko enti nto abo no de nyasam keto akra dodo no wa na asase a wo wo manta ni mensi ahodo mo ne etu ahene esi ahena NPP amanyoko ni mu no kasa na ono na aka hu bi na ba betodwa so do ni chire pone saboba ene yoyo ene ho no o magye Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia enka ne mampani abedi akire enka ne so kura frank ade MPP amnyeko na ntimi atentam na o mo kire se ebosom animu yi ene emprenurum ne mprensa so ena yeko ono na o maton no anti electoral area coordinators ya ewo saam yemi ensa chire pone yoyo ene saboba na kire se Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia ne sent na giba bia into mo kranimu na mo tene Japan PC school bag on be sere 200 years ahene so a ewo mea hodo pi se Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia on the bar abebo MPP amanyuku no omunkurim die no mo sa etimi aka
rule. I think your constituency electoral area coordinators, we even told Honorable Oscar Lual, our former member of parliament, that he should not allow Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia to come to your constituency when he's having electoral area coordinators in the constituency. Because when you look at the electoral coordinators, all the electoral areas were all Bawumia. More to the point, all the youth in the constituency, they are chairman boys, and I'm one of them. So why should you allow Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia to travel all the way from Accra and come here to talk about politics again? When we are there, we are assuring Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia that it isn't because he's coming from Northeast region that we are supporting him. We are supporting him because we know he can do the work. He stood for the party when everybody was sleeping, printing print sheet, standing in court, defending the party. When it's time for him to rule, other people will say, let us rule before you. At least let's give him the chance to rule so that we will know that hard work pays. We want to assure His Excellency, Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia, that all the electoral area coordinators unanimously endorse you. And we are certain, we are all there. And we have our document backing it.
Enti adwumaden pa Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia yam MPP amyoku no ene pin sheet ho sense my lord no a wasefata ese ukura franka mu ni mprenu so biem edema NPP amyoku no we ye kyerepone saboba ane yoyofo ena eke 200 ne esi ahene no
so ebedi emrane so ya engage omo ewo a lot of platforms ama ye share bebre.
Commander ya War Central East Region ne Subtenant Hana Eje wode ato eye okada foa ya omo ka so anyina anim so osremo a o my Ghana ka kwan na ya ye de ato ho no se bi mpraduasa emra wo so emra wo hopa sabi monam so ahwa hunu senye wabusua pani kwan na yayi ato wo no enti wo ya abefa kwan no so wudru zebra crossing no watwam ye so traffic light no watwam wo hu se nipa nam kwan no ho akere se wo mu ne hwe wo mu ne so e nipa da sani bia wo so srem a sa bre ya ye kobro nyamu idie ka so ene ne mpotamu e kan kwanhia no obi di moto abo we pan ne age no ni nyina wo so srem panti wo ma ye e ya de kire ne nsekire dwumadie di ama wo kadafo no ma mi de sensem we to aso
nije sembebre na nia aka ni se ye riders no so ebedi emra no so ya engage omo ewo a lot of platforms ama ye share bebre na ye hu se omo edisu de but still na Brofeka said there's more room for improvement intino ene ye sign be share ye ema ye kaka ye hu nyoma e wo ye I am appreciate AC inti kaka hu say asa na de motorbike ebesi ekwemu no na we shall help safety crash helmet kama we share hand gloves elbow cap knee cap riding boot and a riding jacket now the reflector atuso kama afa odi way to etum chair na emna kasa I was say this so air regulation na say baby I was 30 kilometers we call air baby sorry wo baby school wo ni ade baby nipa bebre hia and I 30 then in a built up environment no and also 50 kilometers baby air highway and no 90 and motorway 100 na mom say we say 163 of the airline no chase obet me across this speed no 165 so chase say who do pedestrian crossing na any baby a people war and a baby a kevo no obeto obo na onye unkoye bibia bema akwehia ba enti ya ni omaka senya mo do baby a pedestrian crossing wa ombeto obo na omagina ma obi so enya koye twem
na weyechi na onabo oyo okuno ya woni yes ewutu senya east abaton pesa so emra se bedwani enso di we ebetudwa asema ya odi tudwa ene semra se ye de akoto mra se bedwamfa wo kadafo nse mu no mampani gitumu ada bia na bra no ombe ye ntete adwumadi amom
John Dramani Mahama finally or sent it to the builder. You be babe sure mo. Na ye ni omo ye will give them copies of the bill. Na ye ni omo at discuss. Senior me wo bill na omo so matiase. We will not just legalize it and not educate them on the do's and the don'ts of what is in the bill. They also need to know their rights as Okada riders and what is also expected of them. Until we are putting all that in place. And we chase so and out me who said no much reflectors come. Aye na ni na so it was sponsored by me. Say omuko baby ya mame police MTT Ukrainian can say one of the way gears also much reflective clothing until also Okada now she reflective say be about na just sakrana nipa na oba we chino obehu say oh there is something before me and there is a rider before me and other things so area sure your name DVLA air partner ma omo aye insurance amomo but one happy thing na me ni je Okada bill ne ho said the age na nkatete no 25 years no ya papa his excellency John Dramani Mahama e dey about 21 years it's not just say yankwala ni bebria nkatete no they are being deprived some bechi Okada no to say no 21 years almost so ombetumi echi Okada.
Womu a eka Okada ewa Ghana hakuo womu nyina edwam tenani na ewura Michael Kofi Wusu wo so da ba mu mpanimfo asepa se ye de wo homra abase so mbetimi aye wo madwuma.
With Ghana, we are so much, I don't know how to express our joy and our happiness this morning. It was like a dream. I think that was about last week that we understand that the bill has been laid in Parliament. And we thought that the bill is being laid in Parliament. It will take about 21 sitting days. Then the news was everywhere that Okada is legal. We said, how possible? And when we start making call, it is true. This is not just a political promise or whatever. This is a rare promise by His Excellency, the President of the Republic. This morning we gather here to salute him and say a very big thanks to him, not only him but the Ministry of Transport as well. But this is his vision and his promise for the Okada Riders Association. All that we want to say this morning is that we salute him. We have a whole letter here, a whole petition that we are sending to him. We understand that he said he will not contest the third time again. But we are saying that if possible, because he's the son of the soil and all that, if he can listen to the voice of the men of God on our land, if he can listen to the voice of the king, the kingmakers and the people who are calling him to come back and whatever, if only he will listen to that voice, then we want to promise him that.
Enti Pragiafo ni Okadafo ni Aboboyafo ye mampani John Dramani Mahama wadwene mo ho pa enyuma enhyede ni o mani mu na wo kyerese Okada no ene de mra betina moti amamudwumadi atimi akonka yesere mo ada semrika no mo nsusu monte so traffic sia enkofa mfimfin mo nyina mo ni so pepese de cars ahodo no di so no na cars kese no omomfa mo ho saa wo mesere mo pa mubuaye pa traffic ni echi a die car ni die no ho ana die o ma passenger bi betra Prague anum no yes yifa ho police chiwa obesi akwa agyawo enti mesere se muntwi ni yie se de be ya munwo mampani chodro mani mahama ani mu ase fe se eba ikura na nka yempe
e moto
ase Okada na ye moto na Prague na ye sa
Prague na mahama kambu
so almo say mahama kandu
eti
tuomufubi na omoma so wode ho
na de meka ye bi de abiem na menka
mampani agro mo ho
wo me se makatro sa pani ka sa wi na asemasa makasa wi
daguya yesi
hede wotu
aboso ba de maja paya se de akuya me se ho na se ba ku bi me o kan ye me kofu bi wode me fa na sa brante me srawo me ngohe me srawo pa me ngohe what is that?
Aboso ba da meja pa. Aboso ba da meja pa ye nti de me maka no. Wo boso apai no.
Oh, se. Eti mu yema mpani ani mu aswate. Pragiafo esrem a Okada na ye. Ukonkurase ba bi se manso achi no aka ntimi nko no. Mo ana mo boaye. Nenso accident no. Wo ko hospital bi kwere ka se motor accident ya. Doctor say person be hwe. Because say bebrebe so bi omo da na die no enye
omo ni traffic so yo mu kira ne say traffic na mo mu che say mo adroba fo no mu gina wo na ye hu kra wo mu ne say ye traffic asi na ka gina na wo kro so ade be wanse moto bi ayi afa ho wa hwe so bi si die jam wa hwe fom no wo ho
na police Ghana police see mo visibility no enoso na ese je kum ye kro ye saman Okada bi ne time mienu yi na from hwehwim krofo bag de yakọ
wa ka asem o wonim se na visibility for no wo mu ni krom se de first
na ayi
first no na nka visibility for no ye press for no mo de moto ejina no na don so ampa wa ka asem this year visibility mo adwuma no ye nhumo ka be do run about na mia bi no mo do moto ne ejina ho yesra mo nsan sorry na munya adwuma maye wate
omare siembo enwura adwade ensemu na adwade ensemu no my Ghana adwumaku otwe nkontabu ho nsem so na mo so mabu nkonta no na ya ahometesem kyerese mabure nya adwuma nye wo my Ghana no kwa na ekosoro mo kyerese third quarter yi mu no na ase no munyam bi eba mu na da 13.1% ho mabu pen dumi ensa ne ya chiripo baako yesi baako na firi ho amre be 13% ono ya asem de kyerese mabu kakra nya adwuma ye nti on besra ban ne se de 24 hour economy hwehye na ba na yentimi tu ho anamo na anwuma ntimi mo so o man Ghana mu na emema ntimi nya adwuma ne binya free se si ana so ko nwuma ahodo mu ma no do pa na enya adwuma ya mema no eni adwuma yenti ya adwuma ho nsem no na o man Ghana nkontabu fo no epani pa wura Idrisu e de betu dwa wachechi mu se ye de amaye.
In quarter 4 of 2024, the unemployment rate was 13.1%. It edged down slightly to 12.8% in quarter 1 of 2025, eased further to 12.6% in quarter 2, and then rose to 13% in quarter 3. The message is very clear. Jobs are increasing, but unemployment rate is not falling in a sustained way. New job creation is still not fast enough to absorb new entrants, especially young people and urban job seekers. This brings me to job quality. More than 2/3 of all workers are in vulnerable employment. These are jobs without job security, stable income, or social protection. Vulnerable employment is especially high among women, rural residents, and those working in agriculture. This tells us something important. Employment numbers alone are not enough. The quality of jobs matter just as much as the quantity. Youth outcomes remain a major concern. Unemployment rate among young people, particularly those...
Afe madaro matiefo we dia ma hodro so nsam ne ye bone tofa obi se brofo pa na edidi ade anka na nado anko enti ye tiefo na ye toaso ama hodro so nsam mu no Russia mampani wo Vladimir Putin na bebo amane yese se wiase nyina mudibuo e ma Russia ono oni Ukraine ntokwa bia ono ni Ukraine fo kra de ye chenya de so obeko ntokwa bia biem na sadem yesi nkrofo bi keka so oboaboa no ho lezi ni boot na wakoto ahye Europe fo so no waso we ye bullshit na de wom nyina ne se mumfa buo e ma Russia fo kakra ene san komo ya wo motena so kan wasem wo BBC so yi don hwere be nan ene akire wose da bi on de nya ntokwa no opo won ti se huriye bi asabi moja mpani tim da na mbom Russia fo no mumuo wono Vladimir Putin ne Mike asema obi amfa nya asem entie ne na samu dibuo pa mo omode adwobre na wo mu
Omari shono so ani ebejanne don hwire kase ne nyina asie ewo Kessben television so ede amamo samufo pani ene wofa Kofi Apiadura chewa ka ho bi Mr Samuel Sapon one ne ba Edward no mo na hwe sound no sa direct news no emaye federal ene bright dubuache omo nyina ka ho bi a VT no mobo ede emaye sa so na brantie chi no wo MC ode confirm am Kofi to pass ene gode begira ka na chi so ede maye ya pages ede ye ko Facebook na nobody see me no e je pene na ede mu nchi mu abrem no sempa Kani Samson ene me de me aba
ekuya ye bo asiama the prophetess na once ye can news ye yi na message by say na natitrim
oh therefore onkwa so oh hey oh ya de pa
recently nan kam ne na nan hye danye fine sa
oh adai woni be
na so bronya eba
na tufu
bronya eba
into na be
tell some ne na ka bom to therefore pia o na na ye da se de bia wa fidie da Kessben
da was pass bronya na okay
na ye ma wa fi shapa in advance why bronya be ye twen o ayefo na etiefo eda mu nyina ase ma mu no hye na ni ti ade hye